Okay then, this is your task for Friday's lesson. This is what we're going to be doing during Friday's last lesson. It's all about combining two recent areas that we've looked at. The first one being this aspect of periodisation of training, and then the one area that we looked at last week, which was ergogenic aids. Now what I've done, I've set you this little question. This is a typical big 20-mark question you could face on an exercise phys paper about how you've got to be able to tie in more than one area of the course that you study. So we're going to look at the aspect of periodisation and ergogenic aids. Now first of all, what you've got to do with this type of question is break it down into its parts, start easy and then build up. This is how you do it. Okay, the first part, you've obviously got to look at the aspect of periodisation. Now what I've done here is I've gave you an example of some periodisation. Here's a little basically a week. Now if you remember from periodisation, that's a microcycle. To start off, when you're doing periodisation, you've got to be happy that you can identify the basic elements of what periodisation is. Now that would be on what we call a unistructural level down here. Can you define what periodisation is? If you can, good. You'd next move on to the multistructural bit. Can you describe all the different aspects of what periodisation actually looks like? So what's a macro, what's a meso, what's a microcycle? What do these things mean? Off-season, pre-season, in-season or competition season. All those are multistructural because they're just dealing with facts. After that, you're then going to move, when we look at the periodisation part, down towards relational and extended abstract. And the part of the question that's going to deal with that is this whole aspect here of comparing an aerobic and an anaerobic athlete. Talk about the training methods each would use, compare and contrast them. Pick one, like interval training, and describe in depth and detail how an aerobic athlete would differ to an anaerobic one. Finally, what you've got to do is also bring in this aspect of ergogenic aids. Alright, now what I want you to do with that is quite simple. When you bring ergogenic aids in, again you've got to approach it from a similar type of view. If you can list the ergogenic aids for aerobic and anaerobic, and that's probably going to take you to about multistructural level. Alright, to getting towards relational and then extended abstract, it's this whole thing about comparing the aerobic athlete, like the Tour de France cyclist, and the anaerobic athlete like the sprinter. So can you identify which ergogenic aids each different type of athlete would use if they were trying to enhance their performance? Alright, so you basically remember looking at the three things I said. What are the effects, both positive and negative, and which type of athletes would take these ergogenic aids and why? Alright, good luck.